All right, guys. So I put up a story earlier today, and this has a much bigger point, but some of these questions are not going to get answered by the people who I'm going to ask on the YouTube. So I'm going to run through some of these Q&A questions because I think a lot of them are actually really good. So it's a good question. We literally hired somebody, younger kid, and his whole job is to like scout and find younger people who are like he thinks are going to come up. Like his whole entire job here is like talent acquisition, and he like lives on TikTok. And to be honest, like you need somebody like that in an ever evolving world of like fitness and nutrition and sports nutrition, because like fads die and honestly influencers die quick. A lot of them they can't handle the stress, or they're not moldable, or they don't last long. So consistently trying to find the right people. And then once you find the right people, also building that person and helping them along the struggles of being an influencer. I know that sounds crazy, but like there's a lot of doubt, there's a lot of like self-image issues that come with this kind of career you choose, and we kind of have to work through that with them. So I would say that is how we do that. If I'm not doing my job as a CEO, I assure you I would not be on camera right now doing this, because my number one job and my number one priority is to be the CEO of all of the, well, Raw and Bum. And I will also say that the most successful CEOs in the world, you do not know who they are. They are crushing it. They are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and you don't know their name. So how important is the personal brand of a CEO? It's not important at all. Zero importance whatsoever. It's a great question. I think that you're just constantly improving, right? Like on a day-to-day basis, you have to kind of wake up and say, you know, what am I doing great? What am I doing that I need to improve? And you need to improve those things. Unfortunately, there's I talk about it a lot, but there's like this part of imposter syndrome where you feel like you can always do better and you feel like you can always improve and you're not good enough for what you're doing. And I have that. So I'm consistently trying to figure out how I can be better, how I can do more, how I can work harder. And I think it stems from my childhood. You know, when I was younger, I think my dad and I's relationship was I could never please my dad. I could never make him happy no matter what I did, no matter how hard I worked. So I think that stemmed into my work and me as a person, because now I work so hard and I do so much, and I overtrain, I overwork, I overdo everything, because I never want anyone to think that I'm not doing my job, and I'm doing it at 110% effort. So blessing and a curse there, but just being honest with you guys. Wow, that's a deep question. I think that there's an addiction to progress and an addiction to seeing results. So I think that's why fitness traditionally and business are the two things that people quit on the quickest, because it takes a long time to see fitness results and it takes an even longer time to see business results. And I think if you go back to the most successful people in the world and you go back to their story, the number one thing they all have in common is they don't quit. And I know it sounds crazy, it sounds easy, it sounds stupid, but it's the facts. You know, if you don't quit doing what you're doing and you consistently show up every day, get the shit kicked out of you and show up again and get the shit kicked out of you and show up again, eventually you're going to win. There's no way you won't. You're going to either outlive the opponent or outlast the opponent, or you're going to figure out how to not get the shit kicked out of you. But either way, you're going to fucking win. So for me, that's the answer to that question. It's not anything miraculously incredible. It's just not quitting and being okay getting the shit kicked out of you for a long time before that one day comes where you win. And when you fucking win, it'll be the best feeling in the world. So I think this is a great question, of course. And I did this when I was younger. When I was in like high school, when I was, starting out in the entrepreneurship journey, I was doing car detailing and pressure cleaning. I definitely tried to like skip corners and do things like, oh, this is clean, I don't need to clean it, or oh, this is like this, I don't need to do it. And it bit me in the ass every time. So I think I've learned at a really young age to not do that. And by doing that, I think I've set myself up to learn and never do it again in my old age. And honestly, if I didn't do it then, I probably would have done it now, but I just fucked myself so bad back then. And to be fair, it was the best time to do it because I didn't have anything to lose. Stakes were much lower, but it taught me that if you do anything, if you put your name on anything, if you fucking put your name on anything, you do it with 100% or you don't touch it. You don't go anywhere near it. And because you're only as good as the last thing you do. I believe that 100%. So you're only as good as the last brand you build, the last business you sell, the last job you do, and that goes through and through. When I look at, like, when I realized that I did it, I think it came from other things. I think it came from the ability to, I say this also all the time, wake up, have a slow morning with my wife. And I know that it's tied to finance, but like there'll be a point where like that finance or monetary goal in your head shifts, and it's absolutely because you hit it, but your life, it just changes to different things. Like I made it means I can leave work at lunch and go to see my son play at, like, you know, the local little place he loves to go play at. Or if I wake up on a Friday and it's very important for him to do something, I'm not coming into work for it. And it's because of the place that I am, but it's not tied to money, right? It's the money is the tool that gets me to where I am, but I don't know how to explain it better than that. I know it's probably a shit explanation. I think the easiest way to answer this question is saying, who is the person that you go to in a difficult situation for help? You know, and if you have that person and you know, right, like I know the person right now in my head who I go to when I need help and I'm in a difficult position, that's a leadership position, because you know that that person is going to give you the right advice. They're not going to bullshit you. They're not going to sugarcoat it, and they're going to do it in a way where you listen and you execute. And for me, that's literally the answer to the question. So whatever that person is to you, that's how you lead. And if you can replicate that in yourself and you can become that person, that you have to give off the energy to people that you're confident in what you know, you'll help any way you can, and you have no skin in the game except you want to see them become successful. And that's your employees, that's your friends, that's your family. And if they get that from you, they will always come to you for advice. And I think that leaders are the people who give the best advice the quickest. I answered this question earlier too. The way that I do this is a little unique. I think that as a business owner and in an entrepreneurial, world, it's so easy to give up when it's like you and you have no other staff, right? Like, so for example, you're a one-man show, giving up, quitting is easy because it's only yourself. But I think that for me, like what keeps me motivated and keeps me here is the fact that I have so many people that rely on me. I have thousands of employees across all the brands and all the medical offices that, not thousands, probably like around 1,000, that rely on me to feed their family, to feed their children, to support their wives. And like, if that doesn't motivate you to wake the fuck up every day, not to mention my own family, like don't get it twisted, they're right at the top of that list, but like, we're good, but the fact that I have people that rely on me on a daily basis to support and feed their families, there is nothing that wakes me up and gets me excited to come to work more than that. It's like all these people rely on me, all these people depend on me, and I'm not fucking this up. And that's the answer.
I like that.
Yeah.